life-changing, really, last 3 months. For me, the biggest takeaway was simplifying a lot of the things that I've already learned, and then just personally working with you one-on-one. You've opened my mind on mindset and self-sabotage. I feel like there's so many overcomplicated pieces of advice out there today, ways to ask questions, future pacing, and I just feel like you taught me how to do it much easier in a simpler and more direct way without having to learn some overly complicated word track, I would say. For me, also objection handling is night and day.
Peter, introduce yourself.
Sure. Hey guys, so my name's Peter Melka. I'm a closer. I've been in sales for 3 years now, little south of under $1 million in sold in total. And I've been with Josh on this business opportunity, working with him for 3 months now.
Cool. So we've been working together for 3 months. It's fair to, how much have you invested in your sales training before this? About 10,000?
10 grand
Okay.
USD. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Happy to share who that was with.
Yeah, sure. That was with the big JM, the Jeremy Miner, NEPQ,
Yeah.
the big cats in the States.
The big cats. Okay, cool. Shout out to Jeremy Miner. Love him to death. Talk to me, your experience obviously working with me for the last sort of 3 months, because I think it's fair to say you were a little bit stagnant with where you were.
Yeah,
Is that fair to say?
So life-changing, really, last 3 months. From the sales side, personal development, inner work, just we went through, obviously, for me, the biggest takeaway was simplifying a lot of the things that I've already learned somehow and putting them together and just making it a real more natural conversation, just making it less awkward and easier to ask hard questions, to get the things that we need from our prospects and to be able to help them. And then just personally working with you one-on-one, you've opened my mind on mindset and self-sabotage to really improve my states to close more. So it's life-changing, really, for me.
Cool. Just on that sort of overcomplication, sort of simplifying the process, where do you feel like that came from for you? Was that previous roles? Was that training? Was that sort of frustration trying to figure things out without a sales manager in your previous role? Where did that come from?
Well, it's a hard question, but I think I feel like there's so many overcomplicated pieces of advice out there today, reframes, ways to ask questions, future pacing, and I just feel like you taught me how to do it much easier in a simpler and more direct way without having to learn some overly complicated word track, I would say. For me, also objection handling is night and day for most of objection handling isn't everything in sales, but you taught me how to simplify by 70%.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think objection handling was, when we started working together, I think that was what you thought your biggest issue probably was. I think obviously we'd focused a lot more on running really deep discoveries, pitching, making sure that we are very aligned to the problem that we are actually solving. Do you agree? That's what we worked on the most.
Yeah, so my ideas of what was wrong with my sales skills or sales process or my limits were completely they're completely wrong. I thought that I needed exactly what you said, and then really for me was having those really deep conversations that you taught me how to have, and being able to pre-pitch, pre-handle objections even in the pitch, just not just not settling for anything surface. And I didn't even know how deep you could actually go with a lot of people. And I feel like we can still go much deeper than we are now. So it's mind-boggling, really.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we've been working together for 3 months. We've made some strides. I never like to talk about numbers because everyone on Instagram just throws out these numbers and no one actually backs it up. And I much rather prefer talking about the personal development thing. For you on that side, what do you feel has been your biggest growth change, just the way that you approach everything in the last 3 months?
In the personal development side?
In personal development, in sales, in just the way that you approach, sales now compared to how you did?
I feel it's a hard question. I feel like working with you, I was able to talk about things that were really blocking me, and internally, that has to do a lot with that has a much bigger impact than any script could have. The work that we did together on the way I show up, my energy when something's in the back of my mind, and me just bottling it, how that affects my results. I feel like that's night and day. I feel like I learned how to communicate a lot healthier, in a healthier way, and that has alleviated a lot of pressure for me on closing. And I think you've also taught me how important frame is and how I need to shift my mindset from being almost people pleasing in some situations to really being that leader that the prospect needs, and not feeling like I'm doing it to someone, but I'm doing it more for them, but on another level. I think that for me is the biggest takeaway, if that answers your question.
It does. And I'm sure you won't mind me sharing this. You were, when we started, you had the tendency to be a little bit closed off, I think, from sales managers that you'd worked with previously. So if things were going on in your personal life, you were very much of the mindset, if I bring this to Josh, my job's on the line, this is, it's going to have repercussions. I'm very much, I like to know everything that's going on with my guys, because that's the best way that I can actually help them. Do you feel like, in comparison to sort of sales managers you had before, having that hands-on approach has allowed you to develop?
like I'll be completely straight. Like when I came to you and we started working together, I was in like a complete hole. Like I was in a rut financially, mentally, I was in a bad rut. And I never had the opportunity to work with someone in a work environment that I could genuinely talk to about what's going on in my personal life and not be afraid of like, oh, then they'll kick me out because they think I'm going to be an underperformer. And you taught me that to remove that fear, which was sabotaging me so much. This like fear of that it's going to collapse. So like that's the biggest thing for me. Like my life is completely different. Like it sounds almost like I'm overselling it, but it's really I'm not overselling it. I've worked with managers before who I could have open conversations with, and they would be supportive, but they didn't have your skill set and results. So like that was for me the biggest takeaway with you and working with you is that not only you can help me personally, but you also have legitimate skill set advice so that we can match those things to get the results. Because I think with only one of the pillars, you can't actually progress fully.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely does. Peter, appreciate it.
Yeah,
So we're only what 3 or 4 months in. I think
pretty
it's going to be
much
an
that.
interesting next 3 or 4 months
Yep.
to see where we get to. What do you think that's going to look like for you going forward?
I think it's
What's
gonna be
your aims? What's your
fantastic.
ambitions?
Well, I want to double what we're doing. Not in three. I wouldn't say in 3 months. I like to set normal goals, but at least like keep going up by 15% every single month, and just become the best version of myself for work and for life that we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
Because that I think is closing is inevitably leadership and transfer of energy, and it is about becoming, you know, the highest standard that we can hold the prospect accountable to, which I think we're working on, which is really
Mm-hmm.
driving the results. So I can't wait. I just want
Yeah,
to grow as much as possible. Like, I'm a flower. Give me all the water, all the soil, all the nutrients. I'm ready.
yeah, yeah. Cool, Peter. I appreciate it. Let's keep it going.
Yeah. All right. Cool, man. Thank you, Josh.